will stand by you. I will be your standing stone. I will stand by you. I will be your standing stone. I will stand by you. I will be your standing stone. I will stand by you. I will be your standing stone. I will stand by you.
Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist congregation at Montclair. My name is Marcus Greyhawk. My pronouns are he, him, and his. I serve as the Director of Music Ministries for our congregation, and it's good to be with you once again. If you're watching this service live on Sunday morning on Facebook or YouTube, we invite you to share your name and your location in the comments section and let us and each other know that you are here. We began last week learning the hymn of the month, which is Sekeli Aldash, Sekeli Blessing. And we learned last week the English text, which is a direct translation from the Hungarian. So, as a reminder, the English text said, where there is faith, there is love. Where there is love, there is peace. Where there is peace, there is blessing. Where there is blessing, there is God. Where there is God, there is no need. Today, we're going to learn the same text in Hungarian, and I will teach you the pronunciation of the text, so please repeat after me. Hol hit, ot szeretet. Hol szeretet, ot béke. Hol béke, ot áldás. Hol áldás, ot Isten. Hol Isten, ot szükség nincsen. Let's try that last line one more time. Hol Isten, ot szükség nincsen. As far as I know, you completely nailed that. Let's sing. The hymns today will be led by our member, Amy Brabson.
Szeretet, ó szeretet, whoever you are, wherever you come from. Whatever age, ability, history, identity, gender, or sexual orientation, you are welcome to bring your full self here. I'm intern minister Ali Kuchichagalia Bell. My pronouns are they, them, theirs. Grounded in faith, we come together to nurture the soul, inspire hope, and bring into being a more just and loving world. Today, we claim this time and this space as sacred so that we might explore our grief and proclaim our gratitude. May we attend deeply to our own truth with encouragement and compassion. Today's service, From Grief to Gratitude, will be led by our own Reverend Jackie Leahy. Reverend Leahy is a hospice chaplain and an affiliated community minister at our congregation. Her service will invite us to engage the work explained here by the poet laureate Amanda Gorman. She writes, "While we might feel small, separate, and all alone, our people have never been more closely tethered. The question isn't if we will weather this unknown, but how we will weather this unknown together." Later in our service, we will ask you to write on a paper heart. You can prepare that now. Find a piece of paper and cut out something that kind of looks like a heart. And since today's service is an invitation to attend our grief and our gratitude, while you're cutting out your paper heart, we will have a special testimony. Here, member Francesca Elms will tell you about our congregation's grief support group. Please consider whether a group like this, led professionally by counselor and member Dick Kressler, is right for you.
Hello, my name is Francesca Elms, and I joined the UUCM Grief Support Group in January of 2019, a few months after my husband Jack Drucker died. I found it to be a caring, supportive, and confidential group where I could share my experiences and found kindred souls. It has been an extraordinary time for all of us, and many of us have experienced some loss and grief, and this is a good place to come check out, see if this might be a place to talk and be listened to, and to help support other people as well. We meet every third Monday of the month, 6:30 to 8 p.m. At the moment, it's via Zoom. We are open to not just UUCM folks, but other people in the community. So if you know someone who might be able to check us out and see if this could be helpful, you could steer them in our direction. Thanks.
Thank you for your words and your witness, Francesca. If you're joining us at 10 a.m., please continue with us for a virtual connection cafe beginning at 11 a.m. It is time to light our chalice, a beacon to guide us through these times together. Perhaps you have a chalice or a candle at home, anything that you can illumine. Let's light our chalice together as we share our chalice lighting affirmation. Let us open our senses to take in the beauty. Let us open our minds to learn what is true. Let us open our hearts to love one another.
Throughout the month of May, we will be honoring our religious education classes, our teachers, and participants. Today, we honor our second and third grade class who engaged the curriculum Moral Tales and Timeless Themes with incredible gratitude for the teaching team of Kirk Barrett, Johanna Seal, Susie Roman Luna, Irene Cox, Kate Loyson Turek, and their senior youth intern, Charlotte Brooks LeBlanc. We share today's time for all ages. The Broken Story by Reverend Christina Leon Tracy. This is a story about a man with a story about, well, stories, if you will. Once upon a time, there was a man with a story, and this story had been carefully crafted. It began before he was born, and the story told of his loves and fears, his dreams. The story was complete. It told his whole life. In fact, the story was so complete, and he was so happy with his story that he carried it around to make sure it stayed safe. It was somewhat bulky and unwieldy, but he didn't mind. It was his story. The thing about the story was, it was very fragile, made up of many pieces, and held together only by his imagination. He was worried it might break apart at any moment, and so he grew more and more protective of his story. He held it even closer, and as he went about his life, he checked on the story to make sure he was following it correctly. He avoided adventure, new people and ideas, any unknowns, because, well, they might break his story. And then one day, the inevitable happened. Without warning, his story broke. It was unforeseen, and he hadn't done anything wrong at all, he thought. But there it was, lying in 1,000 shattered pieces on the ground, with the sunlight glinting off the bits of broken story that he had so carefully protected for all of those years. He was heartbroken. He was at a loss. What now? He sat down next to his pile of story pieces and he cried. A while later, a group of people came out of the nearby building and saw him sitting on the sidewalk, surrounded by a pile of broken story pieces. Clearly, he was in need of help.
What happened here?
My story, it's gone.
Is this the story here?
No, it's all gone.
It looks like it's here, not gone. We just have to put it back together.
Put it back together? There's no way. You don't even know what happened here.
Don't worry. With all of us here to help, we'll put it back together in a way that you would never even expect. You never know, it might be more beautiful than before.
And so they swept up the pieces of the man's story carefully, and they made him a cup of coffee, and he began to feel hope again. Hope that his story could be put back together. And, well, it took a long time. Maybe it was days, maybe it was years. But they got the story all back together, and they added new parts and new scenes, and his new story, it was more beautiful than before. And this time, the story was held together not only by his imagination, but by the imagination and support of an entire community. His story wasn't nearly so heavy nor so fragile as before.
Called now by this time for all ages into worship, we turn to seek a soft meditation, a deep reflection, an ardent prayer, each as we are called in, yet all together. And we enter into this space by hearing the lamentations, the requests, and the remembrances of our community. Let us hear one another to heal one another. We light this candle for our congregation as we navigate the waning days of our pandemic, replete with further challenges, nearby and far away. We hold our community in love and care. May this light guide us through the transitions ahead with courage and curiosity. We light this candle in recognition of the tension between the powers of Russia and the United States, as well as the tension between the principalities of Palestine and Israel. We pray for the wisdom that compels people towards peace. We light this candle in recognition that despite steadily decreasing numbers of COVID cases overall, sadly, a very high percentage of children and youth make up the newest COVID cases. We add our prayers for their health and well-being. We light this candle of joy for a milestone in the pandemic. The Centers for Disease Control released new guidelines Thursday, advising those who have been fully vaccinated that they no longer need to wear masks outdoors. When indoors or in very close contact outside, we still should mask. Perhaps we have turned a corner. We light this final candle for the joys and sorrows that have not been spoken aloud. In the silence that follows, you're encouraged to speak the names of those you are holding in your prayers or meditations, or to write them into the chat. May we hold this silence as this silence holds us. May our listening bring forth acts of love. So May is Mental Health Awareness Month. And Mental Health Awareness Month at what we hope is the end of our pandemic is a powerful reminder, because all of us have faced mental health challenges and we have faced them together. Some have struggled greatly, some have experienced disquiet or pain, and yet all of us know now a bit more about the tenderness of our own mental health. This meditation is an invitation to care for your mental well-being. So I invite you to rest your eyes and sit comfortably. We breathe in, we breathe out. We breathe in, we breathe out. We release a bit of the heaviness that we are carrying. We breathe in gratitude for the air, for the breath, and we breathe out grief. We breathe in presence and we breathe out loss. We breathe in and we breathe out. We feel a bit of our body release, relax, let go. We feel a bit of the heaviness that has been on our shoulders, on our back, in our hands. Release and let go. We are still. We are stillness within and without. There is a peace within and without. Peace and stillness, rest and stillness. We breathe in and we breathe out. We breathe in gratitude for this moment. And we breathe out the grief that we carry. We breathe in and we breathe out. And we come back to this space, lifting our eyes perhaps, emerging from this stillness to be again with one another as we sing our prayer response.
We shall be known by the company we keep, by the ones who circle around to tend these fires. We shall be known by the ones who sow and reap the seeds of change alive from deep within the earth. It is time now. It is time now that we thrive. It is time we lead ourselves into the well. It is time now, and what a time to be alive. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. We shall be known by the company we keep, by the ones who circle round to tend these fires. We shall be known by the ones who sow and reap the seeds of change alive from deep within the earth. It is time now. It is time now that we thrive. It is time we lead ourselves into the well. It is time now, and what a time to be alive. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love.
Hello, I'm Nicole Rinklin, facilitator of the Mortensen Scholarship Team. Each year, the Mortensen Scholarship Fund awards small education grants of $500 to the youth or children of our congregation. This fund was established by Dorothy Mortensen, who was a history and economics teacher in Montclair High from 1959 through 1975. This year, awardees are Charlotte Hunter, Zuri Hilton, and Soleil Sanatora. First, Charlotte Hunter. Charlotte has been very involved in the Unitarian Universalist Youth Conference and now serves there as a leader and mentor. She has also served as a member of the internship team and will be a camp counselor at Unirondack Summer Camp. Charlotte, congratulations. Next, Soleil Santora. Soleil has been involved pre and post-COVID in our congregation's MESH, Montclair Emergency Services for Hope Cafe. She has also graced many of our worship services with her gift of her music. Soleil, congratulations. And finally, Zuri Hilton. Zuri, whose powerful poetry has blessed our worship services. Zuri has inspired at our congregation by teaching religious education program and now wants to continue in the teaching profession with early education. Congratulations, Zuri. We are grateful for the services to our congregation that all three of these leaders provided. and we hope this scholarship serves them well in their next endeavors.
Thank you, Nicole Rinklin, and congratulations to the Mortensen Scholarship awardees. We shall be known by the company we keep and by the way we support one another. When you give to our offering, 80% of your gift will care for the Unitarian Universalist congregation at Montclair, and 20% will support our Justice recipient. Our May Sharing Our Riches recipient is Wind of the Spirit. Wind of the Spirit works with immigrant communities to ensure their access to information and empowerment. They currently support communities in the City of Orange and several New Jersey towns. Partnering with First Unitarian Universalist Church of Essex, they presented the Know Your Rights and Sanctuary City campaigns. Among other efforts, they made and distributed over 10,000 face coverings, provided a COVID awareness training to 2,000 workers, and ensured that 3,000 families were registered for the census. You can text to give, mail us a check, or go to our homepage and click on the donate button. This is a time of need. All of your gifts are worthy, and they are all received with love. Our reading today comes from the poet Mary Oliver. This piece is entitled Heavy. That time I thought I could not go any closer to grief without dying. I went closer, and I did not die. Surely God had his hand in this, as well as friends. Still, I was bent, and my laughter, as the poet said, was nowhere to be found. Then said my friend Daniel, brave even among lions, it is not the weight you carry, but how you carry it. Books, bricks, grief, it's all in the way you embrace it, balance it, carry it. When you cannot and would not put it down. So I went practicing. Have you noticed? Have you heard the laughter that comes now and again out of my startled mouth? How I linger to admire the things of this world that are kind and maybe also troubled. Roses in the wind, the sea geese on the steep waves, a love to which there is no reply. Today's anthem is More Waters Rising.
There are more waters rising, this I know, this I know. There are more waters rising, this I know. There are more waters rising, they will find their way to me. There are more waters rising, this I know, this I know. There are more waters rising, this I know. There are more fires burning, this I know, this I know. There are more fires burning, this I know. There are more fires burning, they will find their way to me. There are more fires burning, this I know, this I know. There are more fires burning, this I know.
Dum,
Hey, hey, oh, hey, oh.
daya dum,
Hey, hey, oh, hey.
daya dum,
Hey, hey, oh, hey.
daya dum,
Hey, hey, oh, hey.
daya dum.
Mountains falling, this I know, this I know. There are more mountains falling, this I know.
This I know.
There are more mountains falling, they will find their way to me. There are more mountains falling, this I know, this I know. There are more mountains falling, this I know. this I know. I will wade through the waters, this I know. I will wade through the waters when they find their way to me. We will wade through the waters, this I know, this I know. We will wade through the waters, this I know.
I will walk through the fire, this I know, this I know. I will walk through the fire, this I know. I will walk through the fire when they find their way to me. I will walk through the fire, this I know, this I know. I will walk through the fire, this I know.
I will rebuild the mountains, this I know, this I know. I will rebuild the mountains, this I know.
I will rebuild the mountains when they find their way to me.
I will rebuild the mountains, this I know, this I know. I will rebuild the mountains, this I know.
How is it with your spirit? As we reflect on the topic of grief, consider your answer to that question. For today's purpose, the definition of grief is the normal process of reacting to a loss. The normal process of reacting to a loss. We'll start with the last word, loss. When the word grief comes to mind, most of us think of death, or perhaps another major loss like a divorce or a layoff. But a loss can be any change in a familiar pattern of living, and any change in a familiar pattern of living can be a loss. As we can all attest, this past year, many of our familiar patterns of living have changed. The relentlessness of the changes has at times felt like a tsunami. The COVID-19 pandemic has transformed the world. The U.S. has suffered nearly 600,000 deaths from the virus. The coronavirus is now ravaging India and other parts of the world. Their healthcare systems are overwhelmed, and hospitals are running out of oxygen and supplies. The loss of life is staggering. Many of us personally have lost loved ones or have gotten sick ourselves. The cruelty of the global pandemic seems limitless. Humans have been dying alone in hospital rooms. Wakes and funerals and shivas have been held over Zoom. Even the ways we comfort one another are gone. Even though we are at what feels like the end of the pandemic, at least in the United States, the losses and the grief remain. They have settled into our bodies. Attending to them will give us the means to emerge from this time with a greater chance of healing. Many of the griefs associated with the pandemic have gone unacknowledged, such as the loss of a sense of safety and the loss of our physical bonds to friends and family. We wear masks that inhibit our connection with one another. We have not been able to see, touch, or hug loved ones. We can't travel, eat in restaurants, go to concerts, the movies, the theater, the library. We can't go to the gym, the yoga studio, the pool. There is isolation and loneliness. Some of us have lost jobs or have transitioned to working from home. There is loss of community, loss of income. Children have been learning online while parents try to homeschool and work at the same time. And for most of us, we can't go to church or participate in congregational worship. The pandemic has disrupted the way of life for all of us, clergy and congregation members alike, with huge implications for our congregation. There has been the monumental change of learning to do church in new ways. We get a sense of identity from what we do. If church isn't what it was, it's a huge loss. Who am I? Who are we? What is the Unitarian Universalist congregation at Montclair now? Pandemic aside, we've been through a terrible time in the life of our country. We have seen horrific instances of police brutality. Hate groups are emboldened, and hate crimes are on the rise. There is civil unrest. Even after the trial of Derek Chauvin, we see the persistence of instances of systemic racism. The losses continue, even after a successful prosecution of hate. We are bombarded with misinformation. Conspiracy theories are rampant. Political and social polarization have led not only to a dysfunctional government, but also to broken relationships between friends and family members. We've been living with fear and dread. We have lost our sense of stability and security. Throughout it all, there are the little losses of daily life. Our cat dies, our neighbor moves away, our child graduates, we lose our favorite hat. Some of these losses may not be acknowledged or valued by society, or even by ourselves. When we experience multiple losses, either all at once or before processing an earlier loss, our grief accumulates. It piles on. We may begin to wonder how much more loss we can endure. How is it with your spirit? Grief is the normal process of reacting to a loss. Let's now consider the normal process of reacting. Many people think of grief as a short time of pain or sadness in response to a loss. But grieving includes the entire emotional process of coping with loss, and it can last a long time. Feelings can include not only sadness, but also anger, guilt, anxiety, and despair. We may feel numb or ambivalent. We may be irritable or frustrated. We may be nervous or fearful. We may lack energy and motivation and have difficulty concentrating. We may feel like we're going crazy or like we want to run away. Often we try to make the negative feelings go away by using short-term energy-relieving behaviors. We have angry outbursts. We isolate ourselves. We drink alcohol, take drugs, or stress eat. Has anyone gained the COVID-19? Grief doesn't look or feel the same for everyone. We don't all experience grief the same way, but all of the feelings that come with loss are valid and normal. How is it with your spirit? Often, we expect ourselves to perform at 100% as the world is crashing down around us. How can we care for ourselves and care for each other when we are brokenhearted? What we do is put up a strong front. Our cultural upbringing has taught us not to show others that we are grieving. As children, most of us are taught that sad feelings are not acceptable. By the time a child is 15 years old, they have received 23,000 messages that sadness is not okay. We learn to cry alone in our room. We were born trusting and loving, but we learn to be afraid to let people in. When anyone asks how we are doing, we answer, "Fine, thank you." How can we express our feelings of grief? As Unitarian Universalists, we tend to live in our heads. We feel comfortable talking about burnout, pressure, and stress. We intellectualize our losses. But grief is not about a broken head, but a broken heart. It has been said that the longest journey is from the brain to the heart. To acknowledge grief is to be vulnerable. It means taking off the superhero masks. As members of a congregation, we can provide comfort to one another. We can create a safe space to talk about our feelings with one another in confidence. Let us listen to one another with open ears and open hearts. Will you reflect with me? Take the paper heart you prepared at the beginning of the service. On one side of the heart, write a loss that is weighing heaviest on your heart, and any other losses as well. Acknowledge your grief. Acknowledge yourself for recognizing and feeling your grief. These feelings are a testimony to your resilience. Our hearts are strong and capable of holding deep pain while also holding love and gratitude at the same time. Grief and gratitude can coexist. We can acknowledge the power of and. For example, I miss being able to hug my friends after the morning service, and I'm grateful that we are able to connect through Zoom worship, so church continues. Gratitude is restorative and a powerful force when facing life's hardships. Writes psychotherapist and grief expert Frances Ward Weller. Grief and love are sisters, woven together from the beginning. Their kinship reminds us that there is no love that does not contain loss, and no loss that is not a reminder of the love we carry for what we once held close. I invite you to turn your paper heart over and write down sources of gratitude on the back of your heart. Acknowledge your gratitude. Acknowledge yourself for recognizing and feeling your gratitude. I close with another quote from Frances Ward Heller. The work of the mature person is to carry grief in one hand and gratitude in the other, and to be stretched large by them. How much sorrow can I hold? That's how much gratitude I can give. If I carry only grief, I'll bend towards cynicism and despair. If I have only gratitude, I'll become saccharine and won't develop much compassion for other people's suffering. Grief keeps the heart fluid and soft, which helps make compassion possible. May it be so.
My life goes on in endless song of a bird's lamentation. I hear the real, though far off hymn that hails a new creation. Through all the tumult and the strife, I hear the music ringing. It sounds in echo in my soul. How can I keep from singing?
For our benediction, I share the poem, Blessed Are You Who Bear the Light by Jan Richardson. Blessed are you who bear the light in unbearable times, who testify to its endurance amid the unendurable, who bear witness to its persistence when everything seems in shadow and grief. Blessed are you in whom the light lives, in whom the brightness blazes, your heart a chapel, an altar where in the deepest night can be seen the fire that shines forth in you, in unaccountable faith, in stubborn hope, in love that illumines every broken thing it finds.
Our worship has ended. Let our service begin. Go in peace. Go in joy. Go in love.
Join us right after this for Connection Cafe. Sign up to teach in our children's religious education program, our #1 volunteer need for next year. And until we meet again, virtually or otherwise, you are in our hearts.
Gently I go, softly I know, nothing to fear, Spirit is here, love be my guide, lift me, I'll fly, far from this place, on the wings of grace. Gently I go, softly I know, nothing to fear, Spirit is here, love be my guide, lift me, I'll fly, far from this place, on the wings of grace.
Gently I go, softly I know, nothing to fear, Spirit is here, love me, my guide, lift me, I'll fly, far from this place, on the wings of grace. Gently I go, softly I know, nothing to fear, Spirit is here, love me, my guide, lift me, I'll fly, far from this place, on the wings of grace. Gently I go, softly I know, nothing to fear, Spirit is here, love me, my guide, lift me, I'll fly, far from this place, on the wings of grace.
Gently I go, softly I know, nothing to fear, Spirit is here,
And this is how I think I felt when I was nursing. I could picture me as the mother. If she had her at home, she'd be singing, "Don't cry,
Yeah.
don't cry."
Yeah.
What I wanted to do is to be in a nurse and give back to those that need it as I received the whole 50-some years that I witnessed. Don't cry, baby, give me a smile. Your mama will be here in a little while. Don't cry, baby, I love you so. Let's go to sleep, let's go. Don't cry, baby, give me a smile. Your mama will be here in a little while. Don't cry, baby, I love you so. Let's go to sleep, let's go.
To a place that's soft and sweet, lay down your sleepy head. Right where the angels meet, at the foot of your bed. So don't cry, baby, give me a smile. Your mama will be here in a little while. Don't cry, baby, I love you so. Let's go to sleep, let's go.
Don't cry, baby, give me a smile. Your mama will be here in a little while. Don't cry, baby, I love you so. Let's go to sleep, let's go.
There's a place that's safe and warm, rock-a-bye, baby, bye. Soon you'll be in mama's arms, so close those sleepy eyes.
Don't cry, baby, give me a smile. Your mama will be here in a little while. Don't cry, baby, I love you so. Let's go to sleep, let's go. Don't cry, baby, give me a smile. Your mama will be here in a little while. Don't cry, baby, I love you so. Let's go to sleep, let's go. Let's go to sleep, let's go. Let's go to sleep, let's go. Thank you.
For you I sing, the light that brings the voices of the children, of golden leaves on bending trees, the wind that blows them over, across the hills and canyons wide, to touch the water flowing, and all along the mountainsides, beyond the fields of clover. For you I sing the colors bright, dancing on the rainbow that moves across the darkened sky, the bridge that crosses over to all the places we have been, to those whose love has carried us like the birds who rise on wings through the clouds and over. For you I sing the light that brings the voices of the children. For you I sing the colors bright, dancing on the rainbow. I sing. For you I sing the rainbow. I will be your standing stone. I will stand by you. I will be your standing stone. I will stand by you. I will be your standing stone. I will stand by you. I will be your standing stone. I will stand by you. I will be your standing stone. I will stand by you. I will be your standing stone. I will stand by you. I will be your standing stone. I will stand by you. I will be your standing stone.